I was most excited about the start. I thought the start of the game was a big key for us, especially for them coming off of an emotional game on the road with a top 20 team going to overtime. We knew they were going to come in with a lot of confidence, and I was worried about giving them anything early. So, a big thing for us was how many 3 stops in a row, how many of them can we get? And we started the game that way and got off to a good start. So I thought it was a big key to the game. I challenged Shelton and Malik both. Malik was quite there, but Shelton did a better job of rebounding and getting there. And then I think the biggest thing for us was the 25-6 assisted turnover. And I think it has the opportunity of kind of seeing what we can be and where we're headed. We're nowhere near where I think we can go and what we can be. I thought our defense was better. Still not where we should be, but I'm excited, and I thought the student section was great. I thought the student section was great. What's today? Thursday. It's a Thursday afternoon game, and they were here. They were loud. I could hear them. I could feel them. So I was excited about that.
Coach, offense. We know what your offense, what you're trying to do, and just how explosive you guys want to be. Being able to get that first 100-point game, how nice does that feel 2 games in?
I mean, it feels good. Whenever you can score 100 points, it's always good. But the biggest thing, I felt like we played the right way, or at least tried to play the right way. Got multiple paint touches, making the right reads, the right passes. I thought that was the difference between the first game and this game. The first game, whenever you play a first game, you have a lot of emotions, and people try to overexert themselves and maybe do too much. And I thought we played with better poise today of trying to get to and find the right shots. So I was excited about that, and that's what happened when you do. You end up with 101 points.
You talk about Dante, the difference from, he said that, you and everyone else on the staff and his teammates helped him to just put that game behind him and get comfortable. And when he hit his first shot, he just said everything melted away, all the fear and all the jitters.
Yeah, Dante had one of the best summers in preseason of all the players. And so it was not, I told him after the game, because I could see it on his face when we were in the locker room, just take a deep breath. It's your first game in college. It didn't go as you dreamed about or planned. Flush it, move on to the next one. So I was happy for him to kind of look like himself, and this is what he's been doing all summer and all preseason. And he's going to be a big part of our team moving forward and a big part of the program.
Jay, defensively, what did you like, and then kind of what you attribute their shot percents were down for them all game, but also too, if you can expand on what you feel like you still need to do better at, because you mentioned it here, even though it seemed like a good defensive effort.
Yeah, for me, it's just the standard of where we got to get to and what I want it to look like and what I feel we can be defensively. The one thing that I did, I challenged Drew Washington because I think he can be one of the best defensive guards in the country. And they have a kid on their team, Arterio Morris, who I recruited when I was at Texas, former McDonald's All-American, just had 20 at Auburn. Know how talented he is. And, that was his coverage, 1 for 13, negative 27. So, just getting true in that mindset, because I do think he can be one of the best defensive guards in the country. But the thing that I just felt like we lost a lot of rebounds. We had one too many offensive rebounds and loose balls we didn't get to. And I didn't like when the ball was getting in the paint. I felt like it's getting in the paint too easily. So just some things we got to tweak, just the standard we're trying to get to here.
Ball was certainly getting in the paint for you guys offensively, 58 points on the inside tonight.
Yeah.
Let's talk about being able to have just the dominant big play that we had tonight.
Yeah, it's how we're built. We're going to be a points in the paint type of team. It's what we want to take away on the other end, because all bad things lead when the ball gets in the paint, and it's what we want to expose offensively. And we've done a good job, and the way they guarded the ball screens and stuff kind of opened up everything for us. And so we were able to get Malik in areas that we like, and Ernest on the baseline for the lobs, and then just getting people downhill. Finally got to see Tre what he can be when he has that space and that opportunity to play that way. So as much as we can score in the paint, we want to. And playing fast and playing in transition is a big part of it for us too.
Can you talk a little more about Tre, about the game he had tonight?
Yeah, he had a great bounce back game, because he wasn't pleased with his first out either. And he looked like himself. And I think as we start to get more games and they get more comfortable, people will start to look like themselves, and you'll get to see our team for what I think it can be. Now, this may not be until December or February, but as long as we're progressing at the right rate and moving in the right direction, I think we'll be fine. And he'll be a big part of it.
Coach, Tre described himself as a leader of this team. I'm just curious from your perspective, how do you see him lead on a day-to-day basis? Just what do you see from him that, is of leadership qualities?
Yeah, part of when you transfer and when you go to different places, things are asked of you differently. For me, he is a leadership, but his leadership has been more of, I set the example, watch me. And so getting him to get out of his shell a little bit and use his voice a little bit more is something that he started to do. And seeing that impact on everybody else, and it's something I really challenged him and True to after the first game, was to kind of get outside yourself and get into the team. And this is for everybody. You're worried about how you play, you're worried about your games, worried about stuff like that. And so once we get past that point, we'll be fine.
Coach, the team shot well from 3 tonight, but they weren't forcing. How exciting is that for you?
It's very exciting. We'll adapt to what is. We want to touch the paint as much as possible, and we think our best threes will come from paint touches. And you kind of saw that tonight. I don't think we'll ever be a 30-attempt team, but we're going to be a high-quality three-point shooting team. So the ones we get will be high quality, and that's why we'll end up with higher percentages. So we're 8 for 17 doesn't seem like a lot, but if you make 8 threes a game, it's pretty good. And if you go 10 for 22, it's pretty good. So we'll take the highest quality of 3, but we also know what our advantage and know the way we're built. We're going to be physical. We're going to get in the paint. We're going to play down here. We're going to get fouled. We're going to finish through contact. And then once they start to collapse, we'll get our threes.
What can you take away from a game like this where you win big by 40 points, you had a run, 11-0 run, 8-0 run? What can you take away from a game like this?
It's not about the score. Whether we were playing North Carolina tonight, it's all about what we look like. Are we carrying over what we practice? Are we playing to, I know I keep saying this, are we playing to our standard? Are we playing to our expectations of what we need to be and where we need to get to? And so every game my coach is always judged off of that. And I thought for the most part our intensity, our mindset was in the right place. And now we still got to tweak and clean up some other things. But, whenever you can hold a team to 61 points who just scored 95, it's pretty good. But, still little things that we got to get better.
Would you make
Anything else for Coach? With some of the rebounding miscues, do you think that was more of a reflection of the thing sending 3 to 4 guys to the offensive glass, or do you think it was more, self-inflicted, just guys not, putting a body and boxing out?
No, it was more both. Bethune sending 3 or 4 guys, and I said this before the game. They have high major talent. It's whenever you're a McDonald's All-American, there's high major talent they have over there. And they big, they're athletic, and we did a bad job of boxing out. We were running under the rim, and they're just flying, and with their athleticism and their size, they're able to get those balls. So I think we did a bad job of blocking out, and then we slapped at a lot of balls. We didn't go after them and snatch them with 2 hands, and that's a big part of it. So you end up with 15, they end up with 15 offensive rebounds, and I would say about 7 of those we tried to slap out or just slap down and went after with 1 hand. You don't win those rebound awards like that.
Joshua wraps up.
With Malik on the offensive end, just what he brought to you, and then also, I assume that's exactly what you're looking for when you have that matchup edge at that spot.
Yeah, you kind of, they got to figure out how to guard him. You know what I mean? What are you going to do in the ball screens? What are you going to do when he's on the block? That was a part of the thing that I've kind of, just watching college basketball these last couple of years, I think the size has been the separator when you watch the teams who were really good last year. You look at Auburn, you look at Florida, you look how we were at Duke, you look at Houston, UConn, like these guys play big. And if you want to compete and be able to compete right away, you got to play big and you got to win some of those wars. And I think part of it is when the teams aren't as big, he becomes a big factor because you put him at that 4, you can figure out what to do with him, and then they go small, you can put him at the 5. And it's just different. It gives you a lot of versatility. And you can see how talented he is offensively. He's healthy this year. He's in shape. So he's given us a lot so far. So we just got to keep it going.
And then just any updates on Maddox or Trayvon, and then Noam, we haven't seen them dress this weekend.
Yeah, both are dealing with injuries. We're just trying to figure those out. And then, when that happens, we'll figure it out, but that's about it for both of them.
What was working tonight, this was a team, this Bethune team had taken Auburn to overtime. I'm sure you guys paid attention to that on Monday. What was your aim today, and what do you think? It looked like the offense was flowing obviously better than it did on Monday. How would you evaluate the game?
Monday, they played a 1-3-1 the entire game, so obviously you're going to get different looks for sure. But I mean, us as a team, we're just coming in trying to get back to the right basketball, the right way to play it. Like, we know how to play, and that was the biggest thing. Wherever the ball fell, we were just trying to figure out how to play the right way with each other and have fun while doing it. I feel like we did a really good job of that tonight.
How about you personally? What was your feeling on your game tonight?
Just being aggressive, being who I am. I mean, this is what this team needs from me. And my leadership was really good tonight, I feel like. So just continue to do that and get my young guys going like DA.
Tre, I mean, to kind of bounce off of that, I mean, you came in and just started scoring right away. Did you make like an emphasis on being aggressive early tonight, or was that more of just like what the defense was giving you?
I'm a pass first point guard, so me being aggressive helps our team. And it just happened they were just wide open layups and buckets and stuff like that, and I was getting good looks. So me just taking those good looks and not forcing nothing, and getting all my other teammates involved. So I mean, that was the biggest thing, just being aggressive in the right way.
Dante, you seem much more comfortable in game 2 than game 1. Can you talk about your evolution from game 1 to game 2 today?
Yeah, I'd say definitely thanks to my teammates, coaches, family, just kind of helping me, I would just say move on from it, move past it, just first game jitters, just kind of reminded me that I'm out there for a reason. I've kind of built myself up to be out there for a reason, so just kind of make myself comfortable, work through it, and then just come back today and just have a better game.
Dante, how good and rewarding did that first basket feel?
I mean, everything. It helps me breathe, relax, all those jitters kind of get out. From there, I'm able to just kind of play my game, and just kind of settle in.
Tre, on defense, you guys, your whole unit was definitely smothering, would be a good word. But you especially, you were really pesky tonight, playing on ball for majority of defense. How important for you is it to be able to get into those press man type defenses?
It's really important. Like I said, as a leader, just and then the confidence. I feel like me doing that, and my rest of my teammates seeing me doing that, it gives them the confidence to try to do the same. I mean, we can be pesky and deflect passes and stuff like that, and push the offenses out away from the 3-point line. That makes our defense really well, especially with Ernest and Malik on the back end, and guards like True able to press the ball. It helps everybody, and it helps us as a team.
How nice is it having those bigs, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where you as a point guard, like you said, you're a pass first guy and you were chucking lobs all night?
I mean, it's a blessing. I mean, them guys are really skilled. Ernest in the air is like no other in the league. In the air and on the ground, he's so skilled. So I mean, just to have those guys, it's a real blessing.
Can you both talk about the assist to turnover ratio is pretty amazing, right? 25 to 6. Just talk about that, about the sharing the ball and taking care of the ball.
We talked about EPAs, early pitch aheads, and just playing the right way, like I said earlier, just sharing the ball wherever the ball needs to go. Let's just get it there on target, on time. And we like everybody on our team to make the right decision. And I feel like when we do that, we lock in on that as a team, we're going to be really hard to stop.
Yeah, I would just say trusting each other. We got talent everyone before, no matter who's in. So I would just kind of say trusting each other to kind of make the right play. And then for turnovers, I would just say there's been a big emphasis. Coach Lucas and a lot of the other coaches have been kind of honest about, kind of coming into the season. So just making sure they know we're making the right plays, but also we're not doing anything. I would say just like too out of character, and then just kind of making the right plays, and ended up working out for us.
Can both of you elaborate on the team's chemistry so far in these first 2 games?
I say it's been great. I would say, especially for a team with all new guys, all new coaches, I think we've been able to adapt to each other really well. We've been able to kind of figure out each other's skill sets really well, and then kind of figure out how it fits with each other's games.
Like Dante said, I mean, just trusting each other. I feel like that's the biggest thing. I mean, our camaraderie, we spend a lot of time together off the court. So, I mean, I feel like that's a really big thing. Teams I've been a part of, teams that do that are really good teams. So, I mean, just building that camaraderie off the court, I feel like it carries on to the court. And like Dante said, when we get out there on the court, just trusting each other and having fun while doing it.
Tre, it seems like Jay's very animated and energetic when coaching on the sidelines. Just how does that energy from your coaches kind of translate onto the court? Is that something that you guys feed off of?
Yes. I mean, when you have a head coach out there that it means so much to him, I mean, you can't do nothing but play as hard as you can for him. And that's why he trusts us. That's what we have to do. We got to have his back. So when he's up and animated, we got to be up and animated with him.
Trey, what have you seen from the bench these first two games, and just how valuable or how important they're going to be as the season moves on?
Our bench guys like DA, he's getting comfortable. I mean, that's gonna be a scary sight when you have a deep roster like that and guys coming in the game after the starters and there's no drop off, and we can continue to push the lead. I feel like that's really important. Not trying to and they're not coming in there trying to do too much. They're doing exactly what they need to do, and it's working for them. So guys like Dante, Marcus, Timo, just being able to come solid, just being able to come in and make shots and guard, and do little things like that, and not having no drop off. That's a really good sign as a team.
We'll take a couple more.
For the both of you, just how unique is it playing with a guy like Malik, where he can just spread the floor and make plays?
Everybody knows Malik's body of work. I mean, Malik's really talented. Just got to continue to have his motor up for sure. But I mean, Malik's it's like I said earlier, it's a blessing to have Malik on the team. And just because if you leave him one-on-one, I like Malik more than over anybody in the country. And then just having that presence down there, you have to double team, you have to rotate, and that causes us to be able to move the ball, make the right passes, get open threes like we want to.
Last one.
Oh yeah, it's about there not being a drop off in those final 5 minutes when teams usually have a lot of fatigue. You guys seem to kick it into another gear tonight. What does that say about this team's drive and tenacity?
Yeah, I would just say everybody being ready. And I would say one thing. I would say everybody just kind of everybody loves being out on the court. You know, I would say nobody takes for granted. Even the guys, you know, coming in last few minutes of the game, you know, they come out. They're gonna give it all they have. They're not gonna do too much, maybe because they didn't get as many minutes as they thought they should have. But you know, they come in, they're ready, they're prepared, and you know, it's just to kind of know that there's gonna be no drop off. It always really helps.
Listen, we played against an NCAA team tonight. I think they're pretty good. You know, they've got size, they've got depth. You know, they're physical. They've got speed. I think they're a very good basketball team, and it showed by, you know, because we're a pretty physical team ourselves, but not even in the same ballpark with them. So I'm disappointed in a lot of ways, but it's just sometimes you have to, you know, UB Brown told me once, years and years ago, back when I was doing announcing and coaching, actually he was coaching, he said there's about 3 or 4 games a year you just walk away from. You know, you look at the film, you learn from it, and you just keep moving. All right, and that's kind of what it is. They got 58 points in the paint. There's no fix for that. You know, I don't think they ran anything that was a problem for us, but when it's said and done, that's really where the game was.
You just took Auburn to overtime.
Yeah.
I know you don't, probably coaches don't like to compare teams and everything, but how is Miami different from the Auburn team that you faced?
The biggest difference, I'm not talking about talent or any of that stuff. I'm not going to get into that. Is you know, size was a factor. We were close to Auburn's size, so they didn't. Points in the paint were pretty close to being even, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a lot of the game is won in paint. You know, your jump shots come after your paint touches and after your looks inside. And that's what, but I like the way they played. I like the way they got after us. I like the fact they were physical. They made it tough for us to catch the ball. And really, I'll be honest with you, they had us pushed out, you know, toward half court running our offense. We have not had that happen. So it's a good game for our guys to play if they're going to be as good as everybody thinks we can be, you know, on our level, you know. So I'm glad in a sense that we played against a team that really was just more physical than us.
Coach, you guys are down big late in the game, but everybody's still scrappy, everybody's still fighting for balls. There's no bad energy on the court. What does that show you about your team?
See, I always play these games because, you know, obviously where we are, we play a lot of these games. So I'm not really sure. I think it was pretty lopsided. But if you want to just look at a comparison, we took Auburn to, you know, overtime, and we play these games in 4-minute segments. And I think the 4-minute segments in all the game was almost equal. In this game, I'm sure it was completely lopsided. As I told our guys, it's never about winning and losing. It's how you play and how you finish the game. It's not jack shot time because you're down by 30. That's not going to happen. I'll empty my bench if I have to do that. So I appreciate that, you saying that, because that to me means a lot, because we're still growing as a team. Just like everybody else. Last year we had 11 new players. This year I think we had like 10 new players. So we're still becoming a team, you know, and all of those things have to happen, and you have to go through adversity to become the best you can be. If anybody is as good as they're going to be right now, they're not very good. You get better as the season goes on. This is only game 2 for us, basically. So we got a long way to go.
How important was it for you guys, especially when making the schedule, to schedule 2 high major teams, one that played in the Final Four, one that, like you said, could possibly be making a tournament berth?
Yeah. Listen, it's about recruiting. The guys that come and play on our team, they want to play against these guys. You know, it's a part of what we have to do. It's a part of, you know, the way that we, you know, we stabilize our program. And, you know, when you have guys that get a chance to come into a building like this and play against this type of team, and they'll be watching this team in the NCAAs at some point or another, you know, it's still about building. If it's about building, then this is a really good game for us.
Reggie, you touched on the matchups down low or in the paint. Just, I'm curious what your takeaway was of the perimeter, both ends of the floor there.
I'll take this back to you. I've watched Arterio dunk on a bunch of guys since the season started. And if it would have been anybody else other than your center, that guy would have got dunked on. So that's what I mean about, you know, the rim protection and playing physical. I thought that their perimeter game is solid because their inside game is so good. You know, when you have guys, I always say that, you know, whether I've coached in the NBA or wherever, when you have guys you can throw the ball to, just throw the ball to them and get out of the way, that helps everybody else. And you've got probably at least 2 or 3 guys that you can just throw the ball to. That makes your perimeter game a lot better because you have to pay attention to it.
Coach, what have you learned about your team through these first couple of games?
We have a chance to be really good. You know, very different mentality. You know, short turnaround. You know, playing the Auburn game, I think it was, what's today? Thursday. We played the Auburn game on Monday, so it's a quick turnaround. You know, but not a lot of preparation. But they didn't have a lot of preparation either. I don't think that, like I said, I don't think it was anything that structurally was an issue or anything to even talk about. It was really about, you know, the physicality of the game and the size of their team. What I like about our guys is what you said earlier, is they didn't give up. And they played down the stretch. And so I'm real proud about that.
Coach, what have you seen from head coach Jay Lucas in his first year so far? I mean, any traits that you noticed from him that seem that continue?
Played a lot of tennis with his dad, so I'm real partial to his family. Played against his dad. I've watched him grow up. I'm just really happy for him. It's an opportunity. You know, where he was an assistant coach, to turn around and get this job, it's just a tremendous opportunity. And so far, you know, I think he's brought in a team that you guys can be proud of. You know, and like I said, everybody's going to get better. You know, there's other teams in the ACC that are really good too, but for a first year and you know, putting this together, this team, I think it's solid, really solid. Really happy for him. 58 points in the paint. You don't have to do a lot of coaching when you get 58 points in the paint.
Any final questions for Coach yet?
Did you get a chance to talk to John Lucas? He was here.
I saw him just before the game.
Yeah.
You know, we laughed a little bit. You know, when you've known someone, you've had that kind of background, you have that kind of camaraderie in that family with the NBA. There's always a lot of smiles and chuckles about stuff. It's just eye contact. You can just laugh when you see each other. But we battled on the court. We battled on the tennis court. I think I might be a better golfer though. Yeah. I wasn't a better tennis player, but I think I'm a better golfer though.